Good morning. Well, it's morning right now for me. It's Thursday, April 22nd. We are ending week 3 of the third Sunday of Easter and moving quickly towards the fourth Sunday of Easter. Isn't that exciting? I wanted to share with you, well, first, let me share. It's not even a share, it's just a desperate request. Desperate might be heavy, maybe dramatic, but listen, I am imploring you. I'm talking to you. We need you. We need your voice. We need you to be a part of our worship. So listen, I keep asking, and I'm really serious. I want readers. If you're willing to be a reader, to read scripture for worship, please get in touch with me. We would love to have more voices included in our worship service. So remember how beautiful Easter was? Part of the beauty of it is that we had so many people participating. So, every Sunday should be a little mini Easter, right? So why not share your gifts? That's another way of tithing too. Your financial tithes are so important; they're essential. But also, your sharing of your time, talent, and gifts. That's we tithe financially. We pool our resources, but we share our gifts. We tithe with our talents and time. So, if you are willing to read scripture, please let me know. And guess what? I have a camera and I will travel. So don't let being unsure about the technology stop you or prevent you from it, because I will throw on a mask. I have my vaccination. I can come to you and record you reading the scripture. You could record yourself and send it to me. I'll tell you how to do it. Or we could meet up on Zoom. I could send you a private Zoom link and we could get on Zoom and I can record you through Zoom. Or you could come to the church and I could record you in the sanctuary reading the scripture. There's so many ways to make this happen. And it'll be fun, and it would be such joy for us to see each other and have so many different voices participating. The same is true for if you want to sing or share a musical talent or read a poem or share something else. If you want to share musically, Kate would love to have singers. She would love to have more voices added into the music. Or if you have a musical instrument you play, anything, contact Kate about the music. She would love, love, love it. And I would certainly love to have more readers and participants. Okay, that's my big plea with you. Okay, now on. Here I am. What a beautiful morning. I know it's not as sunny. I must really be being transformed into a Northwesterner, because I think this day is equally, if not more beautiful than the beautiful sunny days we've been having. Look at that. Look at the beauty of the clouds and the blooming trees and all the flora and fauna coming to life and the birds singing, and gorgeous. So listen, my meditation this morning I've been meditating on 1 John. It's the epistle. It's a letter. 1 John. There are actually 3 letters of John, not to be mistaken as the gospel. It's different. They're different. And we don't really know. We don't really know that they're written by the same people. But what we do know is that they're written in the same spirit of the same and to the same community, what we call the Johannine community, right? So and there's a very similar theme in the gospel and in the letters. But here in this first letter, let me tell you something. It's hard to be a little Jesus following community living post resurrection and ascension in the Greco-Roman world. It's hard. It's hard to be a little community living in a wider culture that doesn't accept you, see you, acknowledge you, or if they do, they sort of despise you or consider you. Actually, in the book of Acts, which we're going to use this Sunday in worship, the book of Acts, there's actually a line where the leaders say about the disciples, they say they're surprised that they can speak and are eloquent in speech, because they just assume that they are uneducated and lower in class and not worthy of anything, not even capable of anything. So anyway, it's hard. This is not an easy time in this first century time, post-resurrection. Jesus has ascended, and they believe, the small community, they believe that Jesus will be coming back soon. That's sort of the general belief, is that Jesus will be coming back soon, but it's not soon enough. It doesn't feel like soon enough, and so there's beginning to be a lot of struggle in the community. This little Jesus following community, they're starting, because it's hard to live the values of Christianity, the values of Jesus, the realm of God, when the wider world and the power of the world seems to be against it, right? It's hard to live and be true to those values. Can you relate to that? Can you relate to it even in our time, right? We're living in this time where it just seems like the world is going crazy. I hear this phrase every day somewhere. I hear it somewhere, whether it's talking to someone in person, or I hear it on social media, or I hear it somewhere every single day. Somebody says, at least once a day, I hear, what is happening to the world? What is happening? What is happening to our country? What is happening? We just seem to be going crazy, right? I bet you hear that too. I bet maybe you've felt that. I've certainly felt that at times. I felt myself saying it. What is happening? What is happening? So much heaviness and darkness and despair. What is happening? It's hard. It's hard to live the values, right? We're living in a lot of isolation. This pandemic has caused us to be more isolated than we want to be. Even those of us who are introverts are feeling way more isolation alone than we want. And the more that we aren't able to be in community and to connect, the more the tensions rise, the more, we get cranky. Our emotions are harder to manage and to deal with. It's hard. It's not easy living these values of Christ, of God's realm, in a world that seems to not really care about it, to not give a damn about it. This is what's happening in 1 John. Listen to this. 1 John. Dear friends, let us love each other, because love is from God, and everyone who loves is born from God and knows God. God is love, and those who remain in love remain in God, and God remains in them. This is how love has been perfected in us. If you have a chance, I would just take a little time and read 1 John. You could read just chapter 3 if you want. It's a short letter, an epistle, but I think it has a timely message for us today around unity and holding true and to love, and to remind us that, yeah, it is. This is not easy work necessarily. We're living in this difficult time, but that we still are called. We are to be reminded. In fact, First John, the writer of Thursday, the author, says, I love this. It's like, he says, little children. That's what he calls the community. Little children, we know. Little children, we are formed as a community through Jesus, who is the Christ. Little children, listen. Listen, I know. It's so tender, isn't it? It's exquisite. Little children, listen. We know. We aren't quite sure yet what we will be. God's still working with us. And yet, here we are. We are a community. Here we are. Little children, little flock, First Christian Church in Olympia, Washington. Don't be disheartened. I know. I see you. This is God. This is God speaking. I know. I see you. I know it's hard. I know you're in the midst of all of this stuff, all the struggle, this strife and turmoil happening around you. And yet, hold tight. Be true. Don't worry. Don't worry about what you can't do. Love each other. Love those outside of your community. Love them. Even those who hate you, love them. Because it is through love that we find life. Death, this is what the author of John says, death comes, those who hate, they are in death. That's death. But to love is life. To love is life. To love is Christ within us. So don't spend so much time worried about the future. Don't spend so much time fearful of what is to happen and what is to come. Just focus on what it is that we know we are called to do and to be, to love, a community of love. And you know, it's hard, I know. And sometimes we stumble, we do. Our emotions get us, we get stressed out. The world is hard at times. But don't forget to recenter it all back in love. Don't forget. Come back to love. I would just invite you to read 1 John chapter 3. Maybe share your reflection with me. I'd love to hear from you. I'll see you Sunday. Blessings.